All my friends in Chicago are freaking out. They got their guy, Ben Johnson's the new coach of the Chicago Bears, and this is what the city wanted. This is what the team wanted. They interviewed 17 people, but you were the hot candidate this year. You know, and it's interesting. Sean McVay, because now you're the second youngest coach in the league. So when McVay arrived, we didn't know who he was. We knew all about you. We saw your playbook the last 3 years. Before we talk about the Bears, what you did is remarkable. What Detroit did is unbelievable. I got gray hair. I'm 60. I haven't seen Detroit win my entire life. What is the one thing in Detroit, because this is a little bit of a rebuild too, that you're going to take from the Lions and you have no problem saying, that was really effective, I'm taking this to Chicago? Culture, coaching, whatever.
Yeah, listen, I learned so much with my time with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and those guys, and ultimately, it came down to the identity that they established in Detroit was all about grit, being able to handle adversity, and fighting through the tough times. And that's what that started with year one, and you saw it come to fruition again this year with all the injuries that team faced, and being able to still fight through it and come away with 15 wins, a division title, and the number one seed. So end of the day, this league, it's going to knock you down, and you got to get back up. That mindset and mentality, it'll carry over here to Chicago. It's not going to be said exactly the same way. I'm not Dan Campbell. It's going to be my own spin on it. But really, that identity and those terms will still apply here as well. So
Jared Goff is more of a pocket quarterback. Caleb can do anything, pocket outside. So you know, you've got 200 plays, 300 plays at your disposal. There are some things you'll take from Detroit. You're obviously smart and clever, and you're not adverse to risk. But does it feel a little bit, as a consumer of your offense, is it a new offense, or do you take bits and pieces of it because you have a different person playing the position and a different skill set?
It remains to be seen. I don't know Caleb like that quite yet. But I'm really encouraged with what I've seen on tape from him so far from this season. On the opposing sideline, I certainly felt his presence out there. He's got an abundance of talent. I can't wait to get to work with him. But obviously, he is a different player and has a different skill set than Jared did. And I'll be excited to see what direction we go. It's going to morph. It's not going to look the same as what it did in Detroit. There are a lot of elements that I do believe in. We want the same things to look different. Different things look the same. Multiplicity. We want the defense on their heels and guessing at all times. But at the end of the day, Caleb's gonna really dictate the direction that this offense goes and what we end up looking like.
Ben, it took years for the Lions to build the best offensive line in football. It was through the draft. And listen, I've always had a theory in the NFL. Number one, find a quarterback. Number two, protect him. Worry about the weapons and stuff later. You got to protect him. It's the insurance policy. Colts couldn't do that with Andrew Luck. He retired early. The O-line last year regressed for Chicago. How do you make an O-line, it's possible, significantly better? Is it play calling? Changing protections? Is it the draft? Is it free agency? Because that's pretty obvious. The O-line has to get better quickly. How do you do that?
There's no doubt. It's all of the above. It's everything you just said. Listen, we'll be in the player acquisition phase here soon, whether it's free agents, draft picks. We'll look to improve the talent level within that room. We're going to find an excellent offensive line coach that will coach these guys up with the vision that we have in mind here for the offense. And listen, we're going to set a high bar and a high standard, and frankly, we're expecting to come through for us at the end of the day. Play calling, yeah, it's gonna have a say in what this looks like here in the fall. But end of the day, we're going to take all avenues that we possibly can to get this offensive line going, to help Caleb, to help the run game. And that's what we need in this division, particularly we play outdoors. We need to be able to run the ball in January and December.
Some coaches want a say in personnel. McVay likes to have a little bit of a say. Shanahan. There are other guys. Andy Reid kind of lets Brett Veach do it. Do you like, some coaches Jimmy Johnson was unbelievable at it. He could have been a GM. Parcells, similarly, very strong. Sean Payton. Are you a personnel guy too? Or is that, hey, you give me the players, I'll figure out the football? How much say in personnel do you like?
Man, I can tell you what, that's what appealed to me so much about this job was the trust I have in Ryan. He's brought in a ton of talented players already. This roster is just overflowing on offense and defense with some great players, great character built in. I really love that about it as well. And so I'm excited to get to work with him. I wouldn't say I'm one way or the other. I really believe that we're going to be aligned, and we'll, as a coaching staff, give Ryan a great vision of what we're looking for at each position and what we want for a Chicago Bear to be moving forward. And listen, I'm just excited to be able to work with him every step of the way here.
Who's your coaching mentor? Who is it?
There's a billion of them. I've had so many. Mike Sherman, early in my career, really showed me the ways of the NFL. Dan Campbell, I would say, is not just a friend, but he has been a great mentor, but in a different way. I've had a number of great influences from a leadership perspective, but also schematic as well. So I can't put my finger on just one man. It's been a number of guys, and it's really been a compilation of everything that I've experienced so far in my career.
You were up for like every job. Your name was mentioned, every single one. Why the Bears?
This place is special. I felt that on the interview. I felt that with the people on there, George McCaskey, Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, the rest of the search committee. I felt really confident in their vision and their direction for the franchise going forward. It was something I wanted to be a part of. I've spent time in Chicago. I know what a great sports town this is. I want desperately to be successful here in football so that they can thrive and they have a team that they're proud of going to the games too. So that played a huge factor of it. It was the people, it was the place. And as I said before, as a competitor, I love this division. There's so many good teams and good coaches and good players in this division. Honestly, as a competitor, I did not want to leave it. This is what I want to go against.
You know, when you have somebody that can do so many things off script, and most offensive coaches come in 10, 12 plays, let's get the ball rolling, let's take a lead, let's catch them, element of surprise. And that's, what almost all you guys do. I watched Detroit games. I could tell within 12 plays what you saw as a weakness, what you saw as a strength. And then you have Caleb, who can do so much off script. What is the line when you're an offensive coach from here's the script and why don't you – I'm going to let you make a decision on this. Is there a line in that communication with Caleb is, hey, this is going to be your discretion on some of these plays?
Yeah, listen, there's going to be a balancing factor that we got to work through. Part of his superpower coming out of USC, though, was his ability to create and extend plays, and we don't want to take that away from him. So it'll be clear what the structure is of the passing game, what the progressions are. And ultimately, if the guys aren't open 1, 2, 3, and the pocket's breaking down, we're going to encourage him to extend the play and go ahead and use that superpower and create explosive plays that way. Haven't necessarily been a part of that in my past. So I'm really excited to see what that looks like and how that all comes together for us here.
Ben Johnson, by the way, the Lions led the NFL in play action. Bears were near the bottom. So as you talked about, the O-line and a run game in cold weather is essential. Matt LaFleur's always understood that in Green Bay. You're outside, it's cold. Green Bay went out and got an expensive, great running back, and they became a power football team. And I agree with you. The weather, Baltimore, by the way, Buffalo with James Cook, these cold weather teams, Seattle and Marshawn Lynch, where I grew up, it's not just a myth. Cold weather teams run the ball. It's funny. Kansas City got rid of the great Tyreek Hill. They've won back-to-back. And it's like, how is that possible? So when I listen to you, the one thing I think you're going to take from Detroit listening to you is you're going to run the ball. This can't just be quarterback-centric.
Listen, the number one deciding factor of winning and losing games right now is quarterback success and quarterback efficiency. But the best way you can help that for a young player especially is to have a great running game. And so, listen, that's something that we are going to hang our hat on. We'll see how well we improve up front. I like the backs that we already have on the roster, and we can certainly look to augment that position group as well. But it's going to start there, and it's going to take everybody, not just those two. We need great tight ends blocking. We need our perimeter players willing to block down the field so that we can spring long runs. And that's something that we've been able to encourage and get done in my past. So I'm looking forward to bringing that here to Chicago as well.
Ben Johnson, new Bears coach. People are happy in a great American city. Ben, thanks for stopping by the Herd. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Colin.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the Herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.